This is Matt with the Dice Roundtable. Thanks for tuning into another video. And please subscribe, like, comment. And we are still doing the 200 subscriber giveaway. So I'm working up. We're getting there. We are getting there. So for today we are doing, or I am, doing a review on Bold Action 2nd Edition by Warlord Games. I've done some tactic talks about it, but I haven't actually talked about my thoughts on it. So here we go. So it is a really nice book. It is hardbound. It does come with, if you buy the starters, you do get some of the smaller books. But really, this is the rule book you probably want, or the PDF, or both, or e-reader, however you're going to do it. You will notice on mine, e-readers are nice, or the PDFs are for the search function. On mine, you will see I have all these wonderful tabs. There is no index in the book. There is a table of contents, but some things are not where they can be. So overall, this is World War II, platoon level. You can do much bigger scale if you want 28 millimeter combat reenactment, World War II, and not time era. The rules are solid. They cover a lot of variability in here. So you got your list building aspect, you got your time period, historical accuracy, a little bit of everyone. If you want to be a tournament player, you can be a tournament player all the way. Overall, it's D6 based for combat as well as morale checks. There are custom, unique initiative dice that you do need for the game, because the initiative order, it's a blind draw out of a bag, which is awesome. That is my number one favorite part of this game. It's not a set who's automatically going to go. Looking back now after all my games, definitely does it. Could it speed up the game if it's a you go, I go alternating action? Yes. But that just blind draw out of the bag, there's so much you can do with it. I just, sometimes I want to incorporate that into more games. 2, the activation of units. You do have several different commands you can issue them. But the second part I love about this game is the pins. The pin system makes this game amazing because as units get shot at, they get the pins for making them take cover, duck, however you want to call it out. So they might not lose any casualties, but if they're being shot at, there's that hesitancy that's being built into the game because you have to pass order checks. And that can just mess with you. There's super success and there's super failure, foobar. And every unit has that small, minuscule chance of getting it. Let's see, we cover open combat, field combat, just you name it. If you just want to take tanks, you can just take tanks. There's a tank war supplement, which I'm not pulling out. But yes, downside, you really need to do this. There's a lot of corner cases in this book. There are spaces in this book that, let's see if I can find, that you're going to have sections like this, and it's just like rules, and sometimes these boxes over here are flavor text, but they're not flavor text, and sometimes they're actually rules. At times there's 2 words describing the same thing, and find this online. It's 2 pages. It's your rules summary. It has your weapons list. It has your damage values, modifiers, HE shots, everything you need to know. That is, I always have a couple. That way, if whoever I'm playing doesn't have one, I have one for them. So one issue is not everything's grouped together. The chapters do make sense for what they are, and I will give you an example of what I mean. So it starts with timeline, so you get some background fluff. That's about 20 pages. It talks about what you need. That's 2 pages. Then it starts talking about the area you're going to be playing. That's 3 pages. Then it talks about the different types of units and unit coherency. That's about 3 pages. Then it talks about the turn, and that's about 2 pages. Then it talks about orders. Then it talks about movements. Then it talks about shooting. Then it talks about weapons. Close quarters is 6 pages. But if you read up to close quarters, you're going to want to read some of those double, because close quarters, because then there's the rules for building. So then there's headquarter units. That's page 82. I don't know why that wasn't earlier with types of units. Then we get all the unit special rules. That takes about 5 pages, which isn't bad. And then we get 5 pages on artillery. Then there's a list of 20 pages on vehicles and all the different situations on vehicles. So we talk about shooting. When it talks about shooting, it's talking about shooting for mostly infantry. It's not talking about artillery or vehicles, because they got their own section. Then you got buildings. Buildings takes up 7 pages, but I would encourage you to read those more than once. Then you get the scenarios. Scenarios run 130, so that's about 20 pages in the scenarios. The scenarios are okay. I'll just leave it like that. It's okay. And then if you don't buy any of the Army books, it gives you Germany, United States, Great Britain, Soviet Union, Imperial Japan, and it's 60 pages for list building. And then you have some appendixes that give you some additional rules, like knife fighting, if you want to do knife fighting. People I've played with, there's sometimes you just discover a new understanding of a rule or a view of the rule. So in the United States, there's a much more competitive nature in games, and there are enough loopholes in this rule book for someone to try to manipulate things or to overdo something on the list. And especially since it's been out for a while, you get more give and take. Overall, the rulebook aside, you do need some Army books specific for your nation if you want more units. And then there are campaign books out there. You don't have to buy them. If you just bought this book, which, what is it? It's about 40 bucks in the US, and your Army book, which runs about 20 to 30 bucks depending on where you get it from, you're set. Then you can go buy models. The cost of entry into the game, I think, is amazing. They don't update the books on a regular basis. There's an FAQ that updates some understandings on the books. They don't typically, Warlord, change things, but as of this recording, the last FAQ was a pretty major one for what we call German Tiger Fear. Put a pin in it if you don't know what bolt action is. You'll learn about Tiger Fear later. That's not what this video is about. But most of the time, they do not do major shifts in the power of the game. So cost of entry is minimum. You can buy your Army book, the rule book, a box of miniatures, and you're ready to go. And that's probably the third best part. I can spend 30 to 50 bucks or get an amazing deal on a starter Army for like 120 bucks, and you are ready to go. You can play a 500 point game, a 250 point game, a 1,000 point game, and some of the starter armies you can go play a 1250, 1500 point game like that. And your investment, if you buy a starter army for like say 150, 40 bucks for the rule book, that's 190. Say 30 bucks for your Army book, that's 220. 220, you're in the game and ready to go. And it's not too many models. You'll probably be doing 30 infantry, say 3 weapons teams, and 1 or 2 vehicles. And you're ready to go. So those are my big pluses for why I enjoy this game so much and the buy-in. There are some little downsides, but the little downsides, no, they don't bother me at all. You want to play narrative, you want to play campaign, you can make a little campaign system. If you buy some of the campaign books, there's campaigns built into them. The only caveat is those campaigns are very table specific. You can, if you're very creative, easily come up with some. And that's going to be where I end this. Bolt action, awesome set of rules for World War II. Really enjoy them. It's 28mm scale, like I said before. And thanks for watching. Thanks for making it to the end. Appreciate it. And you have fun while you game.